The Wendigo is an evil spirit which originates from historical accounts of the First Nations people. The First Nations are groups of indigenous peoples based around the East Coast forests of Canada, the Great Plains region of the United States, as well as the Great Lakes regions of the US and Canada. The Wendigo has been depicted as having human-like characteristics, but is often said to be a malevolent spirit that possesses human beings. The Wendigo is an important part of the traditional belief system of the First Nations people. Descriptions of this entity vary, but they share a common view of it as a malicious, supernatural, and cannibalistic entity. These beings are associated with northern climates and extremely cold temperatures, along with severe and prolonged food scarcity. The Wendigo is seen as the embodiment of gluttony, greed, and excessive behavior. Basil H. Johnston, a First Nations scholar from Ontario, Canada, describes the Wendigo as gaunt to the point of emaciation, that gives off an odor of decay, with desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones, ash-gray complexion, and eyes pushed back deep into their sockets. In the lore of some of the First Nations peoples' tribes, Wendigos are often described as giants that are larger than human beings. Whenever the creature ate another person, it would grow in proportion to the meal it had just eaten, so it could never be full. Most of the documented cases of Wendigo attacks involve humans being possessed by the entity to commit acts of cannibalism. Such is the case of a First Nations trapper named Swift Runner. According to the records, in the winter of 1878, he and his family were experiencing severe starvation which resulted in the death of his son. Shortly thereafter, Swift ended up killing and eating his wife and 5 remaining children. He confessed to the horrible acts and was executed by local authorities. There are historical accounts of humans being afflicted with Wendigo psychosis, in which they become ill and lose contact with reality. The person's thoughts and perceptions become extremely disturbed, delusional, and can even result in hallucinations. Sometimes people end up in desperate situations where they face extreme starvation and have no other choice besides cannibalism. This behavior has sometimes been attributed to Wendigo possession. The previously mentioned story involving the First Nations trapper named Swift Runner from Alberta, Canada has been recognized as a case of Wendigo psychosis. Since the Wendigo phenomena involves human possession, something intangible, it's almost impossible to prove it exists. There are some phenomena that can't be explained by science though. Perhaps this is one of those cases. Is the Wendigo a real spirit that can possess human beings to commit cannibalistic acts? Or is it just First Nations people's lore? What do you believe? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section.